Hey everyone, this is Russell with ArtisanCutlery and CJRB. Today I'm here to do a little bit of an assembly video for our Canadian customers. We've been beginning to take down some of our knives and disassemble them for shipment to Canada due to some of the laws regarding Canadian customs. So first of all, we'd like to thank our Canadian customers for supporting us. Thank you for purchasing from CJRB and Artisan. And for those of you who have received your knives and are looking to get a little information on how to put your knife together, I'm going to start with a basic series covering some of our most popular models and how to reassembling them. Today I'll be doing the Pyrite, and just so you know, this will work for all versions of the Pyrite. I have this steel colored version here with full steel scales and the Wharncliffe blade. This one that's disassembled is the pink version with G10 scales and the drop point blade. They will disassemble and assemble the same. The only difference is the full steel version or the titanium version will not take the additional internal liners. This is just all going to be one old big chunk of material versus having separate liners and scales. So just so you guys know, they will use the same process to assemble. So I'm going to put that down, and let's start with first what you're going to need. You're going to need a driver of some kind with a T6-bit and a T8-bit. Those are going there for now. Outside that is about all you're really going to need. So let's go over the pieces I have on the table right now. These are all the pieces that are going to be included with your Pyrite. So we have the clip with 2 screws. One of these screws is going to act as a body screw. The other one is just for anchoring the clip. We have 2 scales, or in the case of the all steel ones, 1 scale per side. These ones are scales with G10 overlays. We have the blade. We have two bearings, ceramic bearings. We have 3 body screws here, a T8 pivot, D-shaped, a hardened stop pin, 2 columns, and the button and spring. So let's start out by assembling the first piece. So let's take the side without the hole. There we go. So we have this side in G10. We're going to take one of these 2 pieces, or in the case of the all steel one, you'll find the piece that fits. And we're going to take these. We're going to take these column pieces. I'm going to take one of the columns, stick it right, excuse me, right here. Get in there. There we go. So right in there, I'm going to take one of my screws, pop it in there, and just snug that down a little bit. This doesn't need to be tightened all the way. This is mostly just to get that column in there so you're not going to dig around for it when you're assembling the knife. I'm going to do this for the other side, and depending on the clip orientation you're looking to do, you may want to do this, you may want to swap the screws at some point, but this keeps everything all nice and neatly assembled before switching the clip orientation. All right, get in there. All right, so those are just kind of lightly screwed in there, not too tight. Well, you have a piece that looks like this right now. So now we're going to get the pivot. You'll notice that this is a D-shaped pivot. There is a flat side right here. You're going to take that and match it up with the flat area. Let's put my finger under there so you can kind of see it. There you go. So the flat area right there. I'm going to take this, kind of find where the hole sits, and oops. There we go. My bad. There we go. Excellent. It's in there. Pivot's on the back. We're going to take one of our bearings, stick it on there. We're going to take our blade and stick it on there. We're going to get our stop pin right here. Don't lose this guy. It's kind of important. A little hardened stop pin. That goes right into the recess right here. It just sits relatively loosely. There we go. In there. One more bearing on top. And here comes the tricky part. And forgive me for the slight amount of fumbling I'm about to do, because it takes a little bit of practice. You're going to take your spring right here, drop it in to the recess right there. You're going to take your button, put it, as I mentioned, there we go, bit of fumbling. Take your button, put it over there, And while applying some pressure to the back where the pivot is, to make sure you don't lose this, you want to lift this blade up a little bit, just kind of wiggle it up a little bit, and apply some pressure so that the spring fits into the hole. Kind of got the feel for it a little bit. I'm just going to take the blade off so you can kind of see where I am. I like to make sure it's kind of, there we go. So what you're trying to do is fit that blade between that column right there. And if this works out well, you'll see it pop in just like that. Perfect. So now my spring is functional. You want to close the blade and apply some pressure to the blade itself while still holding the scale. That way the spring, ideally, will not go anywhere. Ideally. There we go. So that's held in place for now. Now you're going to take the other piece here, pop that on top, and fit it over everything. That's almost there. There's a little wiggle still. I think I still have to fit this. There we go. All right. So now everything's there. You are going to take your last piece, this guy right here, cover everything up, and just make sure it all fits nicely together. Get your pivot, get your T6, or sorry, T8, and snug this guy up. There we go. Check for centering. Centered. Action is probably going to be a little stiff at the moment. I'm going to take that back a little bit. And I'm going to put one of these screws in here. Screw that down. There we go. Body screws nice and snug. I like to go through and snug up the rest of these a little bit. And check for action. Pretty good. Check for wiggle. Absolutely none. Centering. Excellent. If you need to adjust your centering, you can always adjust the pivot. Just give it a little screw or unscrew to see where it sits. I think I have this exactly where I want it, just right about dead center. And now you can put your clip on. Depending which side you want to put this on, you can, one, take out that screw I mentioned before to put it onto the right side, or you can, with these two holes right here, you can do it on the left side. I'm going to apply it to the left side for all the, what is it, the 10% of the population. So you take your clip, get your screw. I'm going to just mount this guy on to my T6 and pray that it doesn't fall while I'm shooting. I'm going to stick that guy in there. Navigate to find the hole. There we go. I like to give it a little bit of a counter twist to make sure the threads are lined up, and just snug that up a little bit. Do the same for the next one. There is the longer one here, so the two screws are a little bit different. The slightly longer one goes into the more top-oriented hole, or the hole near the butt of the knife. All right, let's try this again. See if we can get that to fit. There we go. Just I'm gonna try rethreading that. There we go. Screw that in, snug it up a bit. There we go. Nice and snug. Snug the other side. Do your best to not over tighten, but you want to make sure these are nice and snug. There we go. On the left side, check the screws to make sure they're all good. That one is good. That one's good. That one's good. Back looks clean. Centering looks good. Action is excellent. And there we are. An assembled CJRB Pyrite. There we go. Once again, thank you everyone for supporting CJRB Cutlery and Artisan Cutlery. We hope that you enjoy your knives. You guys have a good one, and take care.